Hello, my name is Eliza Hardy-Jones, and I am Mary Hardy's granddaughter. When we heard that SCAN's fundraiser was going to be moved online, the family got together and decided that we wanted to have a video to share some musical offerings for you. So although not everybody could participate, here are a few of the family players singing songs and telling stories about our wonderful Miss Tudela. We hope you enjoy it. And in the meantime, head over to SCAN's website and make a donation or bid on one of the many fabulous items at auction. Thank you so much and enjoy.
5, 6, 7, 8.
No, you did.
No, I did.
My name is Mary Wynn. I'm the daughter of Mary Hardy, aka Miss Tudela. My earliest memory of my mother is her playing the piano while I sang and danced around the living room with all the other local neighborhood kids. As you might imagine, music was an essential part of our family life. Her idea of a fun family outing was to get my brother, my father, and myself into the car and sing songs, familiar tunes, except in 4 parts that we had to make up. Obviously, we had no music. Wonderful early ear training. Our favorite dinner table game was What Note Is This? You could sing a note, and my mother would guess the note. We would run to the piano and play the note that she had guessed, and she was 100% spot on. She happened to have perfect pitch. My favorite game to play with my mother was Guess the Composer. She would drive me into my ballet classes in New York City, and it was about a 45-minute drive. So we would listen to classical music station WQXR. Of course, you tune in the middle of a symphony and you have no idea what it is. My mother basically could guess the nationality of the composer first, the time period during which it was composed, and then any other kind of identifying riffs or musical embellishments. She, again, was absolutely extraordinary with this game. She had an encyclopedic musical memory. But she was no snob. We had Olatunji drumming in our living room, and we had Olivier Messiaen, very famous French 20th century composer, also playing. So there was no border between styles. She loved all music. I think that the most important thing to remember is that there is no limit to creative endeavor. she saw no boundaries between them and didn't see the arts as being mutually exclusive. For instance, my mother could not balance a checkbook, but she could sight read Mozart's string quartets, or she could pick up a fiddle and fiddle a tune and switch between the two styles effortlessly, which I understand is not easy to do. But she saw the connections, and I would say if I were to leave you with anything, a message from her, it would be this: don't worry about making it perfect. Take your passion and just do it.
5, 6, 7, 8. How many biscuits can you eat this morning? How many biscuits can you eat this evening? How many biscuits can you eat? 4, 9 more and pound of meat this morning, this evening, right now. We'll make the coffee good and strong this morning. Make the coffee good and strong this evening. Make my coffee good and strong. Keep on bringing them biscuits on this morning, this evening, right now. Well, I love my wife and I love the baby this morning. I love my wife and I love the baby this evening. I love my wife and I love my baby. Love my biscuits on the gravy this morning, this evening, right now. Oh, ain't no use me working so hard this morning. Ain't no use me working so hard this evening. Ain't no use me working so hard. I got down push for charge this morning, this evening, right now. Chimney jail this morning. There's no ants in the chimney jail this evening. There's no ants in the chimney jail at night. I face off the dog this morning, this evening, right now. Well, how many biscuits can you eat this morning? How many biscuits can you eat this evening? How many biscuits can you eat? Lord, I know it about me this morning, this evening, right now.
Now, Miss Toodla was not the only musical person in her family. In fact, her mother, Sarah Luddington Humphreys McCullough, was an accomplished organist. In fact, she used to play the organ for church services in her father-in-law's church. This was great-grandpa Duncan McCullough. And when he would get to a pregnant pause in a sermon that she found particularly long, she would jump in with the next hymn just to move things along, which he didn't much appreciate, apparently. Grandma Buddy also wrote the school song for O'Fields. And it was sometime during the Great Depression that she figured out an idea for how the family could make some money. And that is, she got her 4 kids to learn 4-part harmonies to the song you're about to hear, Giddy Up Napoleon, which they were then going to sing on the Major Bowles Amateur Hour, which was a nationally syndicated radio program. Now, I don't know if they ever made it to the Major Bowles Amateur Hour, but when Uncle Dick would come to visit our family when we were kids, he and Mom, one of their standard songs that they would sing for us kids was Giddy Up Napoleon. And the first and only time, actually, we ever heard all 4 of the McCullough siblings sing Giddy Up Napoleon was at Cousin Sally's wedding. It was at the reception. Somebody made a joke and they got up, and I'm sure they hadn't sung it together since they were kids, but they sang this whole song in perfect 4-part harmonies. So our next song, which is sort of the family song, then is our rendition of Giddy Up Napoleon.
1, 2, 3. I run the old mill, funky mill. My name's Josh Ray, Avenue 5. I know things you can measure my food, you can't fool me.
when I see Bunko, and I always get the best of them. I met a couple on the Boston train. They said, how you doing? I said, down to travel right along with you, don't see the game. I'll be dirty, butter ain't churned. Giddy up the pole, and it looks like raining. I'll be switched, the hay ain't pitched. Don't you drop when you're over to the farm again. I hitched up the old mare, drove her to the county fair, took first place in the lowers for a squash, so I stopped at the side of the hill, coming over by the hill. I got home tighter in the drum, by gosh, I got home so late, couldn't find the Gordon Pig. Mama said, Josh, way it ain't possible. Why you want to leave this place? You ought to go and hide your face. I never think she's acting from a constant phone. I'll be turned, the butter ain't churned, giddy up the pole, and it looks like raining. I'll be switched, the hay ain't pitched. Don't you drop when you're over to the farm again. Well, we had a big show just about a week ago. Pitched up the tent by the old mill there. The mall said, let's go and see a sideshow. I'd like to take a look at the Titan band. I seen the customer short at the pocketbook. He said, we give me 2 tens for a 5. I said, you darn fool, I'll be the constable. Now you're arrested just as sure as you're alive. I'll be dirty, the butter ain't churned. Giddy up the pole, and it looks like raining. I'll be switched, the hay ain't pitched. Don't you drop when you're over to the farm again. I drove the old bay into town yesterday, hitched her on the fence by the railroad tracks. I tied her up good as for the butter train to come along. I haven't seen a horse or a wagon since my son Joshua went to Philadelphia. Wouldn't do a day's work even if he could. Smoke cigarettes too, like city folks. What he's come to ain't no good. I'll be dirty, butter ain't churned. Giddy up the pole, and it looks like raining. I'll be switched, the hay ain't pitched. Don't you drop when you're over to the farm again. I'll be sworn, it must be getting on. Giddy up the pole, and it looks like raining. I'll be switched, the hay ain't pitched. Don't you drop when you're over to the farm again.
And for our final song, we have a special treat. Back in the 1960s, Grandma Mary lived in New York, and she worked with children in Harlem to write what she called original musical pageants. So she would go into the schools, and they would get together, and they would write out character ideas and dialogue and music, and they would draw pictures, and she has binders and binders of that. And one of the musicals that she wrote was called Mr. Collins' Boat Ride. The first act she had composed herself, so all original music, and she had written all of the dialogue, and she had come to the students with that. The second act was entirely written by the children, all of the music and dialogue totally by the children. And the third act was improvisational dance. And I just think that perfectly captures Grandma's approach to teaching and to music and to life in general. About 10 years ago, I was down in Scottsville to record some of Grandma Mary's poetry and original music. And she shared with me the song, Why Do You Sing, Sweet Bird? And that is from Mr. Collins' Boat Ride. And it's just a beautiful song, one that I didn't know until 10 years ago, but that I'm so glad I was able to record. There's a line in the song that says, no care what the tune may be, your song is pure and free. And I just think that's perfect, Grandma Mary. So I have shared the song with all 5 of Grandma Mary's great-grandchildren, and they were able to create videos from Alabama and Alaska and sing the song for you today. So here is Murdoch, Erica, Roxanne, and Tyler and Cody whistling and singing, Why Do You Sing, Sweet Bird?